stop. No more. Stop, stop, stop fragmenting yourself. It is time to call back those parts of yourself and weave them home. Now breathless on the threshold of the world's next once upon a time. I know why I was born to this time and place. To become what they fear to stand with. For every fragmented part of me is being called back, for I am the sum of many lives and lifetimes. Every part of me that has been ripped away, stolen, torn and stripped back, suppressed and shattered, returns to me now. And now I vow to uphold my promise and promises to once again serve the light. Fearless and wild, for I am an apprentice to the light. I always have been and I always will be. I am the sum of 1,000 lifetimes and more. I am the holy wild. And who are you? Wow. I wrote that, I penned that for a dear friend of mine. It was something I saw in her. And as I shared it with her, I almost could feel, there's something she said, and I almost felt as if she was pulling back all the fragmented parts of her. She was pulling them back and weaving them whole. And it was really powerful. And I penned that and it just poured through. And as it did, and as I gifted it to her, I also knew that it was a powerful collective message. You know, I have this deep, profound feeling that this winter is calling us into deep stillness and presence. You know, I have a good friend of mine and he often says, you know, we're either moving through time or we're moving in time. And I have this real deep sense that we are being called into time. And it then serves as a rite of passage. And a rite of passage for those that hear its call. And that call may arise in you as a deep stirring, a ache or even a longing to become still, to rest, to unwind yourself from the over demands and those crazy seasonal obligations. Yet underneath all that pulling and pushing, that winter darkness softens those hard edges of our hurried, modern, rushed lives. Cocoon and pull yourself back into wholeness. Darkness cradles us into serenity and into quiet. And I feel with all my heart that as we approach winter solstice, a gateway of light is opening. Yet, are you there to receive it? Now, you could use that invocation as a really powerful intention to pull back those lost parts of ourselves. And I feel that we are being called to do that over this winter. You know, naturally we have an urge to slow down, but this winter feels really poignant, maybe more so than any that I can remember. And I do not say that lightly. You could light a candle with a living, breathing flame. Use matches rather than a lighter, because when you strike a match, you're bringing a flame to life. So you could light a candle and use that light as a metaphor or as an anchor when you read that invocation, to pull back all that energy into self. You could use a quartz crystal. This is the one that sits on my working altar, and it anchors the nook and myself. And those of you that have spent any time here, you'll feel the stillness. Quite often people say to me, one thing I see a lot in people is when they sit with me, they just go and their shoulders drop, and there's this feeling of just arriving, this feeling of coming back home. People say it feels really holding, as if they felt really held by the space, and I feel that too. And this is a part of that. This is a part of the magic that roots and anchors the nook and myself. So you could use a quartz point, and you could kind of pull all those parts back, call them back home. You know, if you think of the mechanics of that invocation, you know, it is so powerful. You know, there is so much intention within it, and that's the thing, that when we work with magic, that we understand the ember, the spark, the invocation and the magic itself. You know, understanding the mechanics and the intention of the magic, and then we take the journey. Then we get hands-on and activate the invocation and the magic, bringing it to life. You know, think about some of those words. Now breathless on the threshold, on the world's next once upon a time. I think we'll all agree that we are moving into a whole other cycle of time, that we are on the edge, on the threshold of the world's next once upon a time. There is absolutely a whole new story being written there in front of us, there within our own history and experience. And the next part, I know why I was born to this time and place. You know, we are here not randomly, we are living history. I do believe the oldest amongst us are here for good reason. It is not a random event that you are here. The next part, to become what they fear to stand with, to absolutely come into your power, to be empowered with those antler horns, with your crown of light. The next part, for every fragmented part of me is being called back, for I am the sum of many lives and lifetimes. I, me, Shane, have not just served within this lifetime. That is a ridiculous notion. I have done it lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. You don't just learn what I do within this lifetime. I am the sum of many lives and lifetimes. And every part of me that has been ripped away, stolen, torn and stripped back, suppressed and shattered, returns to me now. Returns to me now. I vow to uphold my promise and promises to once again serve the light, fearless and wild, for I am an apprentice to the light. Always have been and always will be. I am the sum of 1,000 lifetimes and more. A bit to unpack there. Now I vow to uphold my promise and promises. A really powerful time to do this is winter solstice, or the other time is oath night. Okay, oath night actually is New Year's Eve. Okay, that whole thing of making New Year's resolutions like a contract with self, it comes from, in the old world we would have made oaths, renewed oaths for the coming year. So New Year's Eve, its traditional name going back was oath night, and I absolutely love that. It's like I do a ceremony and a ritual upholding my promises, and also letting go of those that have been served, those that have been met, and reforming those vows and promises. So really, really powerful, you know. So upholding my promise and promises, oath night, could be a really powerful time to do this, to once again serve the light, fearless, antler, crown of light, fearless and wild, untethered, for I am an apprentice to the light, forever learning, forever growing, forever on a soul's journey. I'm an apprentice to light, always have been and always will be. It's done. It is absolutely done. I am the sum of 1,000 lifetimes and more. I am the holy wild. I'm the holy wild, untethered, holy but wild. But who are you? There you are. Lots to think about, okay? Lots to think about. But you could absolutely activate that invocation within a ceremony, lighting a candle, holding that quartz point, reading those words, and then breathing. The thing is, whenever you've gone through a time of loss or tie cutting, if you've tie cut in a very deep magical way, afterwards you can experience like an emptiness, because you literally have emptied out. Now that is a very vulnerable moment in time, because it is then about what you bring into that emptiness, what you bring into that void. The metaphor Spirit gave me, Bridget gave me, her carrying her basket, her passing the basket to me. She made me very aware of what we place in our basket. If we place too much, it can fall through the cracks, or it can become too heavy to carry. And there was this sense of emptying out the basket, which is that clearing out, and we can feel a deep sense of emptiness. And then it's being very aware of what we draw back. So drawing back those lost parts of us that have been ripped away, stolen, tore, stripped back, suppressed and shattered. I believe that so many of us moving back through time were serving the light, were hung and drowned for it, okay, was suppressed for it, and we are living in a time where we are being suppressed all over again in a very different way. We are on the edge of another world once upon a time. All food for thought. I'm going to leave all of that with you. If you have any questions around this, drop them in the comments, or you've used it, or I'd love to know your thoughts around the invocation, the prayer itself. Share below, and then we could pick up those comments, those thoughts, those questions as a future video. Alright, so I'm going to leave all that with you. But remember, you are the holy wild, and you are the sum of 1,000 lifetimes and more. I'm going to leave that with you. As always, sending you all so much love. Keep shining.